Today we are heading back to mid-century Manhattan to a place that proved you did not need an ocean to find the island. I am talking about Hawaii Kai, the grand dame of New York's Polynesian restaurants. Hawaii Kai sat right over the historic Garden Theater in a spot that already had Tiki roots. It was once home to Monty Crosser's Beachcomber, a Don the Beachcomber knockoff, but by 1962 it transformed into Hawaii Kai when Kipnis teamed up with Art Schindler, who had run the nearby Luau 400. And if you think the Tiki drinks were dramatic, wait until you hear about the interior. Designed by Broadway scenic artist Frederick Fox, the entryway had waterfalls and lush greenery, even had monkeys to greet the guests. After receiving a lei, you'd climb a rattan staircase into one of the three rooms. The first room being the Akole Maluna Bar, Hawaiian, of course, for bottoms up, featured a diorama of Diamond Head that slowly shifted from day to night. Next was the Lounge of Seven Pleasures, where the entertainment ran nightly until 3 a.m. And finally, the main dining room, a massive luau stage surrounded by thatched roof huts, where you'd catch a Polynesian revue called Hula Way, or the Island Huts of Oahu. And you can actually spot it in one of my favorite movies of all time, Goodfellas. Sadly, it closed for good around 1989, but its spirit still lives on through the drinks that define the golden age of Tiki. And that brings us to today's cocktail. So everybody, let's travel back to the 1960s and 70s to New York City and make the Hawaii Kai treasure. You need 2 ounces of lime juice, 1 ounce of grapefruit juice, 1/2 of an ounce of half and half, 1/2 of an ounce of Orgeat, 1/2 of an ounce of honey syrup, 1/2 of an ounce of Pierre, Ferrand, Curaçao, and 1.5 ounces of light Puerto Rican rum. And add a scoop of ice to your tin. Blend this drink thoroughly for about 20 seconds, and then dirty pour the drink into a glass of your choice. Today, the garnish I'll be using is a pineapple frond and a pearl and a cherry speared to a pineapple wedge. And that, my friends, is how you make the Hawaii Kai treasure. Now, the original recipe does call for a gardenia for the garnish, but as I've stated before on this channel, I freaking hate using flowers in my drinks. Not that they're bad, they look awesome, but the plants are expensive. They only bloom a couple times a year, and unless you are a commercial bar, you are never going to go through a giant box of fresh flowers in time. So you're going to be spending 35 bucks for a box of 50 flower heads that are going to wilt in 5 or 6 days. So if you are drinking 50 drinks using those in 5 days, you have bigger issues than your garnish. But the legend says the original drink came with a pearl tucked in the petals, a little hidden treasure, just like the bar itself. All right, let's give it a shot. Right off the bat, I can tell you that it's just way too tart. 2 ounces of lime juice is just way too much for a cocktail of this size. If you're gonna make this at home, man, definitely cut back the lime juice. I would maybe even say down to 3/4 of an ounce. Bump up the Orgeat a little bit. It's not nearly as creamy as I thought it would be. It looks creamy, it looks super creamy, but I'm not really getting a lot of that. I'm really just tasting light rum and lime juice. That's really it. It's like a super bad daiquiri, to be honest with you. Yeah. I mean, it could be okay. I'll say this. This is episode 110-ish, something like that. I can remember, I think, 2 episodes where I outright said the drink was not good. This drink is not that good. It's just, there's too much lime juice. There's just way too much lime juice in this. You could definitely cut it back, and that would make it a little bit more palatable. It would change it into a completely different drink, though. So if I was making this again, might use a different rum, might use even a darker rum, something that has a little bit more funk to it. Because the light rum that I used was just, which was the Breezeway blend, just doesn't have enough of the funkiness to really overcome that lime juice. So if I was making this again, yeah, I would probably use a funkier rum. If I was still sticking with a light or a white rum, I'd maybe go with the rum JM, just because something that has a lot of funk to it. Cut back the lime juice, bump up the Orgeat. Man, I don't know if I'd maybe bump up the honey syrup a little bit. I'd maybe bring down the grapefruit juice a little bit too, just because that's going to add some of that tartness back in there. So it calls for an ounce, maybe do a half or 3/4 of an ounce. But yeah, it's a drink that needs a lot of dilution. Yeah, there's just too much lime juice. It is what it is. But give it a shot at home. Let me know what you think. I have a feeling you're going to come up with the same conclusion that I did. But yeah, the lime hits first, maybe a little bit of the grapefruit, and then maybe a little bit of the rum. It just needs something else or a little bit less of what it already has. But yeah, I was hoping it'd be better. Unfortunately, it's not. Still a cool story. I'm sure the bar was cool. Obviously, I'm sure most of you have seen Goodfellas, that scene where they're all laughing in the bar. That's what takes. I'm pretty sure that's where it takes place. Was at the Hawaii Kai. So, but yeah. So this drink was unexpected. It is imperfectly balanced, so not balanced at all. But I would say it is a drink that does kind of capture that old school tiki that has a lot of tartness to it. But it is what it is. So the Hawaii Kai might be gone, but the treasure, I guess, still kind of lives on. So here's to the island of Manhattan, the artistry of Tiki Past, and the drink that proves that not every golden age drink is perfect. So that all being said, Akoli Maluna, my friends, thanks for watching. Cheers and enjoy if you can.